So this is let me see. This is I believe this is the last slide that I was going to go into here, and I kind of want you to jump in on this part as well.
Yeah, I would do.
The CRM database side of things. Okay, so we talked about marketing, branding, and advertising to attract people and to get them into your funnels or to re-engage them. People that are already, shown some sort of intent on social media or on your website. But when they come into your CRM, now this is like the jelly to our peanut butter. Okay, like Chime is like the bread. We're like the peanut butter. The CRM nurturing and the drip campaigns and you as a salesperson, that's the jelly. It all has to work together for it to taste right. So with the CRM, these are steps you can take right now, especially when we have a little bit more time. Things are still slowly getting back, to how things were. But these are things you guys can be doing right now as well in your CRM to take your marketing, branding, and advertising into your follow-up as well. Okay. So when it comes to the content that we just talked about, everything that I just coached on, you can repurpose this content via email. So if you have, obviously Chime gives you amazing power to see what people are consuming on your website. You have an opportunity to have a serendipitous moment, where you actually send people content that makes sense based on what they are showing intent on. It's not saying, "Hey, Randy, I saw you looking at my latest testimonial. What do you think, buddy?" Like, it's not like that. It's
See how great I am?
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to be creepy, but you want to just be like, "Oh, wow, I guess." I wouldn't be there. There's ways you can naturally send this content, even if it's not as specific as that. If you have a past buyer or an old buyer lead and you wrote an article about buyer myths during the pandemic, it's a great blog to send to them. So you can send people these blogs in what's called like a batch email, or you can send it, or you actually put them in your drip campaigns. So if it's an evergreen blog, like about top buyer, questions that people ask in Lakeland, Florida when they move here, for my first time home buyer or my recently reload action plan, I could put that blog in there because it makes sense. I can put other pieces of content that's not just about like, "Hey, I got new homes for sale. Hey, I got new homes for sale. Hey, I have 20 years of experience. Book a call. Hey, check your home's value." Then by like the 6th email drip, I'm out. Like I'm not even talking to you anymore. Right. But if you mix in some content that gives me value as well, now I'm like, okay, well, this is different. My other realtor where I moved never sent me articles about new businesses. Like I want to go to that new brewery that opened up. I had no idea. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just things like that.
And let me chime in, if you will. This is why it's so bad. This is why it's so important to maintain and have a clean database, if you will. It is such a chore to build a large database and go back and maintain it and categorize and label everyone and make sure every data is filled properly. Make sure your database is clean. You've got your labels assigned. You've got your groups. You've got your "Are they a first-time home buyer?" fields checked and things of that nature, so that you can then build this custom list within your Chime CRM and then send out this content you're creating, whether it's evergreen or otherwise, and you can then actually activate smart plans based off of these very custom lists as well. So take advantage of the fact that you can build a very specific group of people, similar to the way you want to be doing that on Facebook, right? So,
I mean, you could do it even deeper in the CRM though. Like you have even more data. So
you absolutely do, because you're not limited outside of what data you know or have, right? So if you've got your group of Bucks fans, you want to label them as Bucks fans and talk to every single one of them about Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski coming to ruin their career in Tampa Bay, right? So
Or maybe I'll run an ad to New England, getting people to move down to Florida to follow. I don't know.
Man, if you get, if that was a thing that happened, I feel bad for that person. Those ugly cream orange jerseys. Anyways.
Easy.
You see this right here. I'm just saying, organize and clean up your database. That's, I mean, to me, that's number 1, 2, and 3. You have to have an organized database before you can really do any of this to get the most amount of effectiveness.
Yep, most definitely. And as you're cleaning that up, make touch points. Don't just like clean it up and move on to the next person. Like send a quick bomb email or a bomb video, or send a quick touch point that just says, hey, how are you doing? How are the kids? How are you dealing with everything? Like just that simple question, such a long way. And it takes you 10 seconds. So as you're cleaning up the database, start some conversations. It's only going to help. Content creates conversations. Conversations create clients. That's one thing that I'm a firm believer in. So just start conversations. But you brought up another great point, Randy. Like with your targeting, I can, even though I'm limited to the radius of my area with Facebook now, based on the laws and regulations, I can still do interest-based targeting. I can target Tampa Bay fans, like you just mentioned. I can target sports fans. I can target people who show some commonalities or some things that I'm interested in. And if if I brand myself as the sports guy, real estate agent in Central Florida, I'm going to definitely make pillar content around sports. I'll probably have a sports podcast, quite frankly, that I would be able to pour into and get people into my funnel. And like, I'd be creating content around sports. I'd be creating ads that have me like with my Bucks helmet, like showing a property or something. Like, I don't know. Like it's just something.
Yeah. His point is do something you enjoy, right? Pick something you really enjoy and somehow weave it into your business. And at the end of the day, people need homes to live in, right? So you may think that sports has nothing to do with real estate. Well, like you just said, content creates conversations, and these sports conversations are ultimately going to yield, hey, I'm thinking about buying or selling soon, right? And don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. The mindset you need to take into these conversations is, I'm a professional. I take care of my clients, and there are a lot of hobbyists in this industry. And if I don't ask this person if they need help buying or selling, they may very well end up in the hands of a hobbyist who will do them a disservice. And a great story is yesterday, my girlfriend's getting into real estate. My girlfriend's mom has been into real estate for 3 decades. And they're doing a deal with an agent who waived the rights to an inspection. And this is not a foreclosure. This is not an investment property. This is someone's house they're moving into. And this hobbyist of an agent is waiving their right to an inspection. And I just looked at my girlfriend and her mom and said, is that normal? They said, no, it's not. So you are the professional. You will take care of them. And if you are not asking, you are actually doing them a disservice.
Yep, 100%, man. Yeah, and the last thing that I'll leave on with is just the video follow-ups. Some of you guys do video with your marketing front-facing. Take that a step further with your follow-up and with your action plans and your CRM. Send those one-on-one video emails, even if it's a 30-second, 60-second. It takes you minimal effort and energy, and that I promise you guys, it goes a long way for you to stand out. And that's the whole thing that you want to do as a real estate agent in a competitive industry, is to stand out.